this episode. Anything else that happened in this episode, fuck it, I don't care. We're only going to talk about that one big thing that happened in this episode. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen this episode, turn this video off right now and go watch The Walking Dead, unless you want to have your heart ripped out with spoilers. If I can calm down for a little bit, the one big thing we're going to talk about is if Glenn died or did not die. That's the biggest question tonight. Yes, Glenn. And can I talk about the first video I did when the Walking Dead predictions in the first video I made? Did I not call that Glenn would die this season? I think I did. Let's go ahead and do a flashback. Woo! You want to know who's going to die this season? And I'm going to hate it. It's gonna be Glenn. I called it. I told you Glenn was gonna die this season. I totally freaking called it. No, I'm not happy about it. Are you asking if I'm happy about it? Of course no. I didn't want this to happen. I love Glenn. He's the greatest. Let me break it down really quick. Everybody's trapped in the building. Glenn's gonna play hero. Fool that he's trying to help him save his life, but all he is trouble and should have got killed episodes ago because he shot at Glenn and got Noah killed. That dude should be dead. Goes with Glenn. Is like, I can help you. And he's supposed to help. Things don't go their way. They get trapped in an alley. Bunch of zombies everywhere. And that dude pusses out. And he's all like, I'm sorry, Glenn. Or thank you. Blah, blah, blah. Boom. Blows his head off. They're surrounded by like 1,000,000 zombies. And then he falls onto Glenn. And Glenn's like, no. And they fall into a pit of zombies. And then they just get torn apart. And then you just see guts flying everywhere. And Glenn is just screaming like, ah! That can't be the way he went out. That cannot be the way Glenn goes out. Oh my gosh. Like, I would rather have you go out the way you went out in the comics, Glenn, because that way was brutal. He was one of the biggest characters on the show, and then you're going to go ahead and do that to him? Come on, Walking Dead. That's just messed up. You would have hoped Glenn would be on the you can't kill these characters list because everybody's just going to freak out and not watch the show anymore. Like, I don't think Rick and Daryl are ever going to die. It's going to be like the last episode with them, and they're going to be like back to back, and they'll be like, 1,000,000 zombies, and they'll be like, let's go out with a bang, bro. And that's how Rick and Daryl are gonna go. But I always knew Glenn was never gonna be on that can't kill list. Like, he could have done the most awesomest things, and he was never gonna be on that you can't kill list. I knew that dude should have died. Glenn, after he killed Noah, like, you put a bullet in his head. Oh my gosh. But you know why? Glenn doesn't kill people. That's not what Glenn does, and that is why this happened to him. Glenn was the nicest guy in the post-apocalyptic. He still took care of business. Do not shame Glenn. Glenn was amazing. Don't ever think down about Glenn. And he was dating the hottest girl in the post-apocalyptic world. Let me take a breath, and let's actually talk about this. Do we think Glenn is actually dead? First initial reaction was, dude fell on top of Glenn. They're tearing that dude apart and not Glenn. And so Glenn's gonna live. We're gonna see him on the next episode. He's gonna be all like, what's up, guys? Man, I was trapped under all these guys, the freaking zombies, and like, I lived. I'm here, Maggie. Bop, 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 bop. Not sure if you guys saw Talking Dead afterwards, but of course they always recap the show. And they had something from the producer, Greg Nicotero, I think his name is. And he said that we'll see more of Glenn, whether that be in flashbacks or what happened to him now, but it will give us closure to the story and not just Glenn getting ripped to 1,000,000 pieces. So, there's plenty of theory for room thingamabobs right there. So I'm going to ask you right now, how would Glenn survive this? I really want to know. Give me your thoughts on how he's going to survive this. How? In the comment section down below. So, we want to talk about how he lived. What are the possibilities that would show that he's still alive or how he could have lived? Now, I was talking to my friend Chris, who doesn't think that Glenn died. He says when you're getting torn apart like that, blood should be squirting out of your mouth. And that wasn't happening to Glenn. He was just really screaming and blood was being ripped out of the guts and stuff. But it wasn't coming out of Glenn's mouth. So, does that lead us to assume that Glenn is still alive? I should say that my friend Chris is not a medical person, but I do think we've seen enough Walking Dead to know that when you are getting ripped apart, usually blood's coming out of your mouth, I think. I don't know. So that's the most common theory, that it was that guy getting ripped apart and not Glenn. So technically he could hopefully still be alive. Another reason why people are saying Glenn didn't die is because he wasn't on The Talking Dead. Usually after an episode where a character dies, they're on The Talking Dead so they can give their final goodbyes, they can talk about what was going through their mind, all of that jazz. And Glenn, Stephen Yeun, I believe his name is, was not on Talking Dead. All my love for Glenn aside, I don't see realistically how you get out of that situation. I think he died. I honestly think he died. I'm really hoping, and yes, there's plenty of ways that they can just be like, he didn't die, he got out. Yes, they can do that. But in a realistic standpoint, zombies on top of you are tearing through one guy. Why are they gonna just stop? Why would they just stop ripping through one guy even if you're covered in all that person's blood? I don't see how he just gets away from that. They could do that because I believe there was an episode where he had like 3 zombies on him when that dude tried to kill him originally. And he got away from that. So maybe he's just the perfect zombie impersonator and he's like, woo! I just don't see realistically how you get out of that situation. You know, they were probably right after they're like, more guts! Ooh, Glenn guts! How does Glenn get away from that? I don't know. I mean, if they're going to keep it going and it's not going to be just he gets lucky, I say somebody, you know, the zombies hear gunshots. Maybe Rick was pretty close to him, and they heard all the gunshots that he did at the end of the episode, so the zombies are going to start going that way instead of just tearing through Glenn too. I don't know. Something like that would have to happen. Explosions that make the zombies just get away from him. Something like that is the only way I can see Glenn surviving that and being somewhat plausible. Like I said, I don't see how you get out of that. But let's talk about how he died. Obviously, gets torn apart. That's the easiest death. But with Greg Nicotero saying that we're going to get closure on this whole situation, whether it's flashbacks or, you know, could continue in the current story is what he said. How do you think we get closure? How does this situation resolve? One being that Glenn survives. He survives. He shows up. I don't know if somebody else was in that village and saves him. Whatever. Glenn survives. That is one of the ways we get closure. And then he keeps going and, you know, the story continues. And he dies some other time. 2, Maggie being Maggie, she's gonna search for Glenn. It's what she does. She loves him to death. She is going to go look for him. We've seen that happen in the show before. She does it and she sees he's a zombie. Oh, that would really kick you in the feels, wouldn't it? If Maggie's got to put down Glenn and Glenn's a zombie, nobody wants to see them be a zombie. Like, ugh. This is the kind of like situation of Glenn dying. Like, if you were that kind of person that, and like, this is how I feel. Like, I don't know about you guys, let me know in the comment section that, like, I felt like if there was a zombie apocalypse, yeah, everybody would be like, oh, I'm Daryl. And like, oh, no, man, I'd be like Shane. And I'm like, no, man, I'm Rick. It's so easy to say you would be those guys. Like, you could just kill somebody. You could just do this. You could just do anything in the zombie apocalypse. Whatever. I always felt like I'd be Glenn. And that's not just because I wanted to bang Maggie. No. I honestly feel like I would be a runner in the zombie apocalypse. I'd be the kind of person that would be like, look, let me go out. Let me get supplies. I can do it on my own. Whatever I got to do. That's how I feel like I would be just because, I don't know, I'm skinny, I'm quick, I could jump on things. I don't know. I always related to Glenn because I felt like in that kind of situation, I would be that kind of person. So, like, I connected with Glenn on that level. So to see him go was heart-wrenching. Like, I knew it was coming. Like, when I saw them standing on that thing, I felt like that dude was gonna push him. Did anybody else think that? I thought that guy was gonna push him so they could start eating Glenn, and then he was gonna book it. And there was part of me that was like, Glenn, push him and you get out of there. Did nobody see the grass that was like right here? There was like bushes. You could have jumped. Like, push that dude down, jump onto the thing. That's what I would have done. I would have made a break for that. Like, jump on that fence. It wasn't that far. You could have made it. If Glenn died by getting ripped up by zombies, it was brutal. Like, it's just, I didn't see his death that way. Like, I would have rather him got shot or something. It's like something different. Like, that, no words. But that's it, guys. I just wanted to make a reaction video to this big, huge episode that's going. Let me know if you want me to keep making these, and I'll put a lot more effort into making the Walking Dead videos. Like I said, I'm making a bunch of videos at a time right now, so it's kind of hard. But if you want to see more of me covering The Walking Dead, let me know, and I would totally start doing that. But yeah, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, guys, if you liked it. Please tell me what you thought of this episode and what your thoughts on were Glenn. Did you like him? Did you hate him? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. But as always, I am your host, Juicebox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time.